Tesla reported record quarterly electric car deliveries, sending shares sharply higher at the start of July. So with its latest quarterly earnings around the corner, can Tesla beat the street? With me to discuss is Ross Gerber from Gerber Kawasaki, who is also a shareholder at Tesla, joining us down the line from California. Ross, good to have you with us. Let's start with your expectations for this set of quarterly results.
Well, these results are better than I expected. I did the math 100 ways and came up with about 91,000 cars, and they beat that at 95,000 cars. And it's mostly because they've been successful from a production standpoint, but also from a demand standpoint. We're seeing just enormous demand for the car, and it continues to grow.
So in terms of the earnings upcoming, what is it that we should be really focusing on, do you think?
I think the most important thing is the cash flow number, because with this kind of delivery number, Tesla should be a profitable company based off our numbers. So if they're able to report a profit in here, it basically shows that Tesla moving forward, and not only is a sustainable business, but a profitable one. But as they continue to invest heavily their cash flow into growth in China and also the Model Y production line that's starting up here in California, this company has enormous growth potential in front of it. So we're excited to see it as a sustainable company.
So in the previous quarter, we saw a big drop in deliveries and there was a loss of $702 million. So do you think we're past the worst now?
Yeah, I mean, I've said that a few times, so I don't want to, I feel like we've been past the worst for a little bit of time. The first quarter was really part of the international expansion. There was just a lot of things that had to be spent and done to grow the company's business around the world. We're seeing deliveries all throughout Europe and now England as well as in China. So, this is an incredibly difficult thing what Tesla is doing in redefining not only the way cars are made and being an EV vehicle, but also the way cars are being delivered. By not having a dealership system, they're essentially just delivering them one by one to each customer all around the world. So as they've worked out this logistics in Q1, they seem to have it pretty down now here in Q2. So we're excited to have that behind us.
So there was this report from Bloomberg saying that Tesla is planning to boost its Fremont factory output. Do you think the company is planning to up its Model 3 production?
No, I don't think they're going to up Model 3 production. What I think they're going to do is focus on Model Y now. So they know the demand for the Model Y is the same or higher than the Model 3, being as it's a crossover versus a sedan. And so Model Y launch is imminent now in Fremont, and we're also going to see production of the Model 3 probably be done in China once that line is up by the end of the year. So we will see a boost in Model 3 production from China, but we expect the Model Y to be launched now at some point this year.
So I'm wondering what you think of the sort of disconnect between your own view and, say, that of the broader analyst community, because when we look at the recommendations from Wall Street, there seems to be a lot of sells out there. So what are they seeing that you're not?
Well, I think they're all wrong. I mean, they've all been saying that there's no demand for the car and that production and deliveries would be substantially less than actually what they were this quarter, and hence the rebound in the stock. The stock is up substantially from the low. Actually, from every Wall Street downgrade we've seen, the stock is up from 20 to 30% from those downgrades. So what we're seeing, I think, is complete manipulation of this security by short sellers in Wall Street that are basically colluding together to obviously make money off of this company. And what we're actually seeing is a company that's becoming very successful despite all the attempts and attacks from Wall Street, the oil industries, the car dealers, and everybody that's being disrupted by Tesla. But in the end, people want EV cars, and that's obvious across the world.
Do you think that Mr. Musk needs to do more to sort of appease the opinions of Wall Street, or at least sort of play the role of a CEO of a public company more in terms of, the earnings calls and that sort of a thing?
Yeah, I personally, that's been my gripe with the company. I've worked very hard with Tesla, and I've even spoken to Elon myself about this issue, from unnecessary Twitter things to the way the company's image and marketing is being done right now. And the company's really listened. And in the last 3 months, the company's had a dramatic shift in the way that they're dealing with the media, the way that he's been dealing with Twitter, the way information. They've made a bunch of changes internally in Tesla, and the communications and marketing is improved dramatically. And I think that's also one of the reasons we've seen the stock improve, because people have more confidence in Elon moving forward, because they've taken, I think, more responsible steps, and also not over promising so much. And I think Elon's been working hard to temper his enthusiasm. I mean, he's even admitted it. He's like, sometimes I just get too optimistic. So I think that helps. Wall Street doesn't want to be disappointed like in Q1. And so I think by setting expectations right and proper communications, Tesla's on the right track now. And now I'm hearing rumors they might redo, the cars, Tomorrowland Speedway in Disneyland with Disney in a co-marketing agreement. And I think it's just genius. And so we're starting to see the kind of things that are really propelling Tesla's amazing brand forward. And so I'm excited. I think that Elon finally gets this thing.
One area is self-driving cars, and he's been talking about that as a real near-term possibility. Do you think that is true? And if so, that would be a game changer, right?
Yeah, and it is true. I've been in the self-driving car, so that I've been lucky enough. I was actually one of the first people on Earth to really go in a first Tesla full self-driving vehicle, thanks to Elon and the Tesla team letting me do that. And so I can tell you from my firsthand experience that it is very, very close to being a very effective tool for driving, completely on every street, every road, completely self-driving. So it's still going to take some time, because obviously human behavior is very difficult to predict on the roads, especially here in LA. And so what we're really dealing with in technology isn't really Tesla's ability to make the technology, which we think they'll be, in really good shape by the end of the year. And when you think out a year from now, I think they'll be in great shape. But what we have is the adoption of this technology at the same time that human drivers are interacting with it. And I think that's going to be the challenge, is to get as many people using autopilots and safety techniques like autopilot in cars as soon as possible. And we'll have an immediate impact on saving lives and traffic as people drive more rationally by having computers drive their cars. So full self-driving is around the corner. People have their doubts, and the skeptics have always been skeptical. But in reality, I think within the next year and a half, we'll see a lot of cars just driving themselves.
Now, in terms of the share price, we know it got off to a shaky start the first half of the year, but like you were saying, it looks like things could be turning around. But what do you think is the sort of biggest risk to the outlook for the shares?
I mean, I think the biggest risk for Tesla is obviously some sort of problem with the car itself or in the manufacturing facilities. What they're doing is never been done, and we've seen recalls of the I-Pace and the e-tron. Most people have struggled to make electric vehicles in mass, and Tesla's been successful at it. So, we always worry, there could be something wrong or this or that. So that's always the risk in manufacturing a high technology vehicle. But so far, so good. I've been driving the car for a year. I haven't had any problems. We track multiple cars that have been around now for some time and haven't had problems. So, we're pretty excited about the quality of the car and the technology in the car. But I think the risk is still execution risk if they have manufacturing problems, supply chain problems, and or, any sort of technology problem that could come up. That is just a byproduct of what they're doing. But that risk will always be there with Tesla as they're pushing the envelope on technology.
Ross, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thank you for having me.
That was Ross Gerber from Gerber Kawasaki joining us down the line from California. I'm Victoria Scholar, and thank you for watching IGTV.